legs, and we need to put our legs on the body. So I'm going to take this big paddle bit here, 1.5 inches, and I'm going to bore some holes the bottom of the body to accept these tenons. Now this drill is bigger than, they're smaller than the tenons are. So what we're going to do is we're going to drill the holes, we're going to locate them and drill them, and then we'll put the legs back on the lathe and turn them down so that they're a nice snug fit. I couldn't go to 2 inches because this is not quite 2 inches across here. I think 1.5 inches is good. So I think because this is a laminated piece of wood, if you can see there's 3 pieces of wood, 1, 2, 3 in this body. And I still have to cut a notch out for the mouth and the arm on the back. I think I want to go across the laminations for that instead of going with the laminations and cutting a big chunk out of this lamination and maybe ending up with some narrow strip here in this middle piece. I think I'm going to go across. So I want the legs and the arms to be on the sides where the laminations are. So we got to find center of this guy. So in order to do that, I'm using my center finder. Just works, just big enough. Draw a couple lines on here, and they should all meet in the middle. Assuming I know what I'm doing. They do. Look at that. They all meet in the middle, right there. So the legs are going to go like so. So I think I want to center them in that space. Let's get the measuring stick here. So I'm at 2 7/8. So if we draw a line thusly across that center, as long as I go across the center, it should be a perfect line for this. Let's see, is that straight enough? That's not quite. Let's see about straightening that up some. If we use this guy, we can see through it and get a straight line, a straighter line. That looks better. Now we can extend that line. Straight edge here. There we go. Okay. I'll measure this again. Good. Oh, I don't have 2 7/8. Measure that. Let's measure this side. What do I have over here? Center point out. I've got 2 7/8. I don't really have 2 7/8, do I? Two 13/16. So 2 13/16. What is that? That is 1 13/32, I believe. So So do we have 30 seconds on here? We have 64s on here. Here, we got 30 seconds on here. So I'll mark my center point very clearly. Now I got 1 and so that should be 16 is half. 13, so I'm going to go 1. So it's 14, 16, 15, 14, 13. There. Let's see, 16, 15, 14, 13. Right there. No, that's not it. That's 16, 15, 14, 13. Right there. So that should center the legs. If I just hold them back like this, and like this. That should be perfect, I think. I think that's it. I think that's perfect. That's where we want them. So be right back. I just took a minute and went back to the lathe and kind of cleaned this bottom up. Before I did that, I drilled some pilot holes where our marks were so I didn't lose them, but the bottom was kind of nasty. It's still not great, but it's the bottom, so that's fine. But now it's not all hacked up and ugly. It's just kind of ugly without the hacked up part, so not so bad. I suppose this is where we find out what we're made of, right? Do we have a successful layout, or are we going to wreck this whole thing? If I drill that centered, it's not going to cross the center line. One more time, let's just double check this. That's center. That's centered. I don't know, do we want a little farther apart? Once we drill this, we're stuck. No, that looks right. That looks perfect. Alright. So, how do we hold this guy? Because I'm sure this is not going to be something I want to hold with one hand and try to drill with the other hand. It's going to be sure to get away from me. I think we're going to have to stick this in the vise, and I'm wondering if I want to use this vise or the other vise. Let's see if I can get to my other vise. Hold on, we'll be right back. Okay, we are back over at the other bench. This guy is really messy, this bench is, so pay no mind to that. But I've got a decent vise here that's got a nice flat bottom we can use to hold this. So let's go slow and wish me luck. Let's go the right direction. Now it's working. Let's see, how deep do we need to go? We might be deep enough. Let's see, we are 1 1/16 there would be plenty. And we're a little over that. I think we want to go just maybe a little bit more. Maybe not. Maybe we don't need to. Let's see. That is... well, I think we want a little bit of room for glue, but otherwise I think we're pretty much right there. So I'm going to go a little farther just so there's some room for glue to come squish out. Let's check that now. That's deeper. I think that's plenty. Okay. Probably got about a 3/8 of an inch deeper than I need to be there, so I think we're good on that hole. Let's get this other one going. I think it's time for a new battery. That one back in the charger. Watch that. That's a big drill bit. Let's check the height there. On the flat. We're good there. We were plenty deep on this one. Let's drill this one out just a skosh more to match. All right. We've got 2 holes, hopefully in appropriate locations. That's pretty darn near exact. What we're going to do is mark where it gets tight. So we know where to to start. I can see the line, that's good. Fits that side perfect. Okay, we're gonna stop that one there. Put the other one on. Stop there. Check it out. Okay, it's a little tight. Starting pencil. Here we go. Not back there, it's too tight at the bottom. It's too tight down at the bottom. Again. Oh, it's almost a little too loose now. Look at that. It's too loose. Well, we may have to shim it a little bit when we glue it. Shove a little something in there to shim it out. But that's our guy. I think the spacing is good. So this is our guy. He's got legs now. Still have many arms, but we need to cut a slot here for the mouth, build the handle. You need to turn the arms. They're over there still square, but got the legs on. That's a big accomplishment. We also got the bottom cleaned up. A little shot up his drawers there. I think it's looking good. He needs some feet and a pedestal, and I think we got it. That's all for now.